that is a lot of food and a lot of cooking for one weekend. And I'm not saying that you guys should be going out there and cooking that much, but this is a weekend in the life of a professional home cook, which is a term that I've been calling myself recently, and I really think it just summarizes what Brothers Green is all about. Just getting into the kitchen, whatever size kitchen you have, and doing as much cooking as you can, providing for your friends, providing for your family, your kids, and especially providing for yourself. So you don't have to go out to the restaurants as much, you don't have to order in as much. You can save a ton of money and really connect to what you're cooking. And now this weekend that I will show you in this video, I had the entire weekend to just cook. And that is one of my favorite things to do when I really set time aside to get as much cooking done as possible, so my week's a little easier. So I've got things prepared, I can be more efficient, I can do a lot more work. So you're gonna see a ton of different things. I've listed them in the description so you can skip to exactly which thing you want if you just specifically want to see one recipe. Even though they're not necessarily recipes, you'll get the general idea of what I'm doing. But yeah, just enjoy these 2 days. This is day one. So let's get after it. Hey guys, just back from the farmer's market and I've got a ton of stuff. I walked about, I don't know, a mile with, it's like 50 pounds of produce and meat, eggs and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna unload. I've got a full weekend, 2 full days to cook whatever I want, and I've got a lot of stuff planned. First, I gotta get it organized, unload all this stuff, and get cooking. I'm gonna take you through everything in just a second, but I wanna say one thing. Right now is the best time to go to the farmer's market. So any time in fall is great because you've got the end of summer action going, all of, you know, the zucchinis and eggplants, all those summer crops, you got a little leftovers, and then all of that fall stuff, broccoli, all the brassicas, kale, all that good stuff is in hard right now. So it's just a beautiful time. That's why I kind of went all out, but let's get through it. Start over here, we've got some kale. Then I bought a little bit of polenta, some spelt flour, which I've never bought before. I'm gonna use that to make sourdough. I've got a whole chicken. I'm gonna get crazy on that thing. We've got some chicken bones too, because I wanna make extra stock to just have. Then I've got 2 different types of garlic here, peppers. We've got bok choy, some radish. A lot of Asian stuff gonna be going on with this. I've got some plans for that. We've got some zucchinis. Those are great for all types of stuff, but I'm gonna use them for muffins and then just sauteing for whatever. We've got a bunch of Asian pears, different type. My favorite fruit of all time, Asian pears and mangoes. But right now, like East Coast Asian pears, the best. This is some fresh young ginger. I'm really excited. Whenever that's in, I try to get it because it is so tasty. I'm gonna use that in kombucha and just a lot of different Asian dishes. Broccoli right here. Concord grapes. These things are amazing. If you've never tried a Concord grape, next time you see it, just snag one off the vine, pop it in your mouth. You'll buy them right after. I can guarantee you. It tastes like grape juice. Amazing. Eggs. And then this thing is a turnover that I got, mushroom and kale. I ate half of it at the farmer's market because I was so hungry, but I won't be hungry now because it's time to prep. If you guys have been following Brothers Green on Instagram or YouTube, you know I love making kombucha. It's one of my favorite things to do. I've been making a lot recently. I've got a fresh batch of black tea right here brewed. So this is just black tea and sugar. That's what this thing lives in. This is the SCOBY right here. That's what ferments it. And then a little bit of actual kombucha tea from my last batch. So this is from last batch. This is going to be my new vessel for the new batch. So I just have to add that, let this sit for 7 days, then add the fruit, and you've got kombucha. This is where I keep the brewed batches so they stay nice in the fridge for like a month or 2. So I'm just going to show you what a brewed batch looks like. This one right here is Concord grape, turmeric, and ginger. It's actually not that carbonated. Usually it has a lot of bubbles, but that was pretty weak, but that happens from time to time. But this is one of my favorite flavors. Mmm. So tasty, healthy soda right there. And the flavor's amazing. And a lot of you have been asking how you get the Concord grapes in there. And I've been buying them because they're in season right now. So I'm just gonna show you how to extract the juice out of these things real quick. You can freeze it and you can have it for a while. That's what I'm gonna do with this batch. Freeze it so I can just continuously use the Concord grape juice for kombucha because it's my favorite flavor. First thing you gotta do is take all the grapes off the vine and put them in a little saucepan. So I got everything picked off and I got the heat on, and I'm just gonna give them a mash, and you'll see they'll start juicing. And this is actually how you would just make grape juice in general. You would take this concentrate and then you would add some sugar, you'd add some water, but just this stuff is super intense. So you kind of bring it up to a simmer, and then you let it simmer for about 10 minutes, and there's a bunch of seeds and skin in there. So then I have to strain that off and you'll have that pure Concord grape juice. 100% pure Concord grape juice. So I'll probably use a little bit of that to make the kombucha, and then I'll freeze the rest. Next up, we've got probably the biggest project of the day, and it's this thing right here, whole chicken. And what I've been doing recently is buying whole chicken, which is great because you save some money when you butcher it yourself, and it's not too difficult to butcher. There's a ton of YouTube videos out there. One of my favorite is Food House. He's got a great 3-minute video on butchering chicken. But what I'll do is I'll butcher this thing, and then I'll make stock with all of, the extra pieces, and then I will freeze a few of the pieces depending on what I want to make that night. Freeze them individually, like maybe the legs together, the breast together, so then I can just pull those out throughout the week, cook them up, and you've got chicken for a while. There you go. We've got 2 breasts, 2 legs, 2 wingies right there. Not bad, not a bad butcher job. No pun intended, but I've butchered a lot of chickens, like butchered them, screwed them up many times. But you get the hang of it. Eventually it starts coming a little easier and you get better every time. See all that action, all that leftover scrap? That is delicious flavor right there. And I think my plan is to just make a very basic chicken stock. Just that stuff and maybe salt. And I'm gonna use that to flavor a sort of ramen noodles. So that extra flavor coming from the chicken is gonna make this ramen so good. But you'll see me throughout the day, I'm gonna start working on little things to add flavor to that ramen. So instead of making a stock, like a normal stock with celery and carrots and onions and garlic, all that stuff, I'm not gonna worry about that right now. I'm just gonna make a very basic chicken saturated stock. The question is, what do I wanna eat first? Usually I go for thigh because that's my favorite right here. There's the thigh attached to the drumstick. One thing I do like to do is, you see I've got the chicken just covered in water. I bring that to a simmer real quick and you'll see it gets super cloudy. It's a lot of just the nastiness coming off the outside of the chicken. You drain that off, fill it up with more water. So you're not actually losing flavor, you're just making a cleaner stock. It's the Vietnamese style for making pho. I've decided to go with these little mini thighs right here, and I debone them. I put the bones in that. A little stock action. What I'm going to do is put this in the fridge and just let it air dry, and that's going to give you the most insane crispiness on that skin. So if you let that air dry for a few hours, by tonight that is going to be glorious. See all that cloudiness? By pouring this off right now, we're not actually losing flavor because we haven't really cooked it too long, but we're just going to get rid of all that nasty, and it's going to be a nice clean stock. One thing I just remembered is I've been soaking this kombu for about 2 days, just 1 piece of kombu in there. And I'm just going to add that to add a little extra umami flavor of the seaweed. Since I'm making miso with this, it will just help with the flavor, really bring some depth, some of that more umami to the game. Just remembered I bought this thing about 3 days ago. This is the Fresh Saver Food Saver. It was like $20 on Amazon, and it's for vacuum sealing your food. And I bought it for a trip because I'm going to Costa Rica. I'm going on a fishing trip, and I wanted to potentially bring some of the fish home, so I needed to seal it up nice. Comes with these little packs, these custom packs. So I'm gonna try it out for the first time on live YouTube right now. I'm gonna try out this Fresh Saver. So this is kind of like a review of a product, but I'm sure it works great. So we take these guys, we'll pack in these breasts first. First we're gonna seal that up at the Ziploc right there. It's a nice seal. And then we're gonna take it right on this little circle. Oh yeah. We're still sucking. There you go, vacuum packed. Not the best vacuum packer, of course, probably the cheapest vacuum packer of all time. But it does the job. It will keep it fresh. I've seen tighter seals, but yeah, it should work. Just a nice simmer. Only a few bubbles coming up. You want to keep that low and slow when you are developing a stock. So just a few hours. I'll probably take those kombu strips out of there pretty soon. And that is going to, it looks amazing already. I'm ready to get after that thing. I just figured out a little technique. See all that scum on the top? Just take this little strainer. Boom. Go fishing. Look at that. Now you got a clear broth. Always learning. I just went out for a little walk, came back. Chicken aromas throughout the whole house. Not the worst way to enter. It's looking pretty good over here. I think, let's see. I'm gonna taste that, but it's a little reduced. I'm liking it. It's perfection right now, so I'm just gonna strain it off, pick off all that meat, and we are good to go. Just like that, we've got stock here. This is a little extra meat. Still figuring out what I want to do with that. That's just what I picked off the bones. And then this is more stock, and that's what I'm going to build the base of this soup for dinner. There's one more thing I wanted to make for this soup tonight, and it is a flavored oil. So it involves, I'm going to use grapeseed oil. And the whole idea is you're infusing a bunch of good stuff in that oil. It's a Chinese technique that I learned about, 2 years ago, where you take the oil, you heat it up, and then you pour it over ginger, some scallion, some garlic, just aromatics like that. And then you let it sizzle a little bit and you get all that flavor, and then you use that oil to flavor whatever you want in your Asian cooking. I love flavoring my ramen noodles with it. So I'll put it in my broth and you're gonna get a lot of great flavor. If that's not potion right there, I don't know what is. Look at that. That's a gem of an oil ready for use at any time. These are the veggies that I picked to go into the ramen soup tonight. We've got bok choy. I had some tofu left over and some radish. I'm gonna saute that, and these little enoki mushrooms that I picked up, which I'm pretty excited about. So I'm just going to prepare these. I'm not going to take you behind the scenes on that. So let's get after it. 3 ingredients go into this ramen broth, and it is the best veggie ramen broth of all time. You've got the scallion oil, a little bit of that, some miso paste, and then we've got the stock. You can use any stock. You don't even have to use the stock. You can use water. It's still going to be tasty. Or just the kombu if you want to go straight vegetarian. And then I'll take an immersion blender or put that in a blender and really get that emulsified so it gets nice and creamy. Just tried this and it might be my best yet. Always getting better at this stuff, and with the chicken broth, that's really what takes it to the next level. I gotta say, you don't even taste the chicken flavor, but it's just that meatiness. Really, it feels very full when you take a sip. It's super salty. You get all those aromatics in there from the oil, and then just that base of the chicken stock is so good. These bad boys, fresh from the fridge, very nice and dry. Watch how crispy these are about to get. Just inside down. Just let them do its thing. I got a few extra little pieces in here. Just keep that on a nice medium heat and slowly get that skin crispy. You don't want to go after it too quickly. Like that's even a little too hot right there. And just slowly bring those things to crispy. About 80% on one side. All right, here's the big reveal. Look at that. That's about 4 to 5 minutes. Oh my god. Oh wait, I totally forgot. He's got to cook on the other side. Woo. One last step to this whole noodle dish. I've soaked some rice noodles in here. I'm not going to use ramen noodles. I've been really enjoying the lightness of the rice noodles recently. So it's kind of like pho meets ramen. And I'm just going to boil them in there for about 2 minutes because they're soaking in here, so they don't need much time. This is just to get them nice and loose and they won't stick together this way. Boil, plate, chicken, veggies. Okay. One with chicken, one without chicken. Date night time. So here's your starter right here, and there's some action in there. It's nice and bubbly. It could be a little better though. See, it rose to that height. There's some bubbles. So I'm gonna feed it one more time, just flour and water again, and then tomorrow morning it should be ready for some sourdough.